Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Melvin Way. You can search for my name on Google or YouTube to find my channel and my videos. This is a growing series on a small evergreen shrub from Brazil that can bear fruits that look like cherries, and it's aptly named Cherry of the Rio Grande if you were to pronounce it in Portuguese, or Rio Grande in Spanish, Rio Grande even in America in some parts. So it has this nice waxy foliage. The leaves look largely healthy. They're very waxy and shiny, and the nursery I got this from, which sold it for $10, is everything's just under the canopy of their mini trees, and it's been very rainy and wet in 2019, so I bought this in early January. It wasn't part of a New Year's resolution or anything. I just wanted to boost the amount of content on my YouTube channel, and sometimes these days, in the past year or two, it's taken me a lot of footage gathering before I release a video that covers a very long time span. And I'm already kind of disgusted because I see these white little mites moving around on these waxy leaves. Now, it doesn't seem like an infestation, or is it? But I think I should apply some kind of insecticide. I'm thinking imidacloprid. Just dissolve a little bit of that from Bayer and pour it into this pot, because I want systemic protection to protect my little investment here. You can see all these dead leaves. Some are from the plant, some are from other trees in the nursery. So the woody stem looks nice. It's a cutting. Here's some of that imidacloprid I was talking about. And this pot has excellent drainage, as you'll soon see, and for the rest of the series water just runs out of it right away, because it's been raining all the time in San Diego lately, and it's been very cold, so the soil no doubt just got soaked on a regular basis. So it's day 6. I don't know if that nursery environment was ideal. I don't think so, because it doesn't get that much sunlight and it's been very cold and wet. But nonetheless, this little cutting of a species that grows in Brazil is it's doing fine. Seems like an interesting plant. The reason I got this is because I've had all the normal common American fruits that are available in supermarkets, and I just wanted to try something more exotic and interesting. A small shrub that's low maintenance with red, I wouldn't say large, but cherry-sized fruits. I can't wait to taste them someday if I get to that point. It seemed like a nice project. It seemed like something that's advertised as being low maintenance and easy to grow. Although I don't know about the climate here. It's generally hot and dry. It's a Mediterranean climate here in San Diego, California, USA. And you can see there's this little clover species with leaves that fold up at night. I think I've seen that before, but I'm not sure if that's oxalis or whatever. There's some kind of like little clover that grows like a tree, but this might be some other species. So yeah, it's day 37 and nothing much is happening. This little clover thingy it's growing, and I'm not really a big fan of potting mix at this point, but that's what this came in. It offers excellent drainage, and it's nutrient dense, hence the preponderance of little mites and bugs. Just because a plant was raised in a nursery or came from a nursery where they claim to do everything organically and safely and whatnot, doesn't mean that they necessarily have the potting conditions optimized. Oftentimes it seems like they'll just use the cheapest pots and potting mix, which is the cheapest growing medium. It weighs the least, and perhaps they just cut up a plant and stuck a bunch of branches in pots like this and reproduced it. But as you can see from all the mites, as I mentioned, maybe that's not so good of a choice. Plants wouldn't grow in potting mix in the wild anyway. I have no idea what Brazilian or Amazon rainforest soil is like. I think it's more on the poor side. If I remember all those books and teachers saying jungle soil is poor, although who knows, in any given landmass, there's just so much variety in the local soil and climate. So yeah, the leaves on the bottom are kind of more yellowing at the tips, but overall this looks really healthy. And while I don't like making a big splash all over the place by raising the watering can so high, I feel like I should wash these leaves and get rid of some of the mites. So it's day 43, and I'm constantly changing the angles of this table, which desperately needs a coat of wood stain plus polyurethane maybe to give it a shine and luster like back in the day. So yeah, so I move the table around a lot to try out different filming angles. The reason I'm doing so much nighttime filming is because by the time I get home from work, oftentimes it's just pitch dark outside, and it's been really, really cold in the winter of 2019 in Southern California. So you can see there's some new leaf growth, but it's coming in real slow, and for a plant that comes from a much warmer climate, much more humid climate, maybe this thing is just struggling because it's been cold. But San Diego is not all that bad. Pretty soon it should warm up. It's just the night and day temperature differentials are much greater in a semi-arid climate compared to say a tropical climate. So if they're selling this here, there's probably a good chance that it'll make it here. Otherwise it would be kind of annoying to customers if all of their plants just died because they weren't suited for a climate like this. So you can see there's a bit of new growth. I guess the leaves on the bottom will be lost. It's a little twig or a branch that was cut, so all the bark is already there for protection. That's good. Provides rigidity. It's day 56. You can see the new leaves are coming in nicely. Hopefully the imidacloprid, which is, I think I read, the most commonplace pesticide used worldwide, is in the system, so it's systemic resistance being provided to all the leaves, so when parasites try to suck out the juices of the leaves, they'll just get poisoned. And this little clover-like species is getting taller. There's just a lot of detritus in here. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. Maybe I could sprinkle a mixture of sand and California hill dirt on top. So it's day 63. We're finally starting to get some sunlight in the mornings hitting my balcony. There was a time during winter where that was not the case at all. No matter how early I woke up, it would either be cloudy or the angled morning sun would just go away within half an hour or an hour. Not providing much of a window or utility for filming, but you can see there's a lot of new footage. I finally got a watering tray, another one from Lowe's. I forgot the exact order, but I got all of these thick plastic watering collection trays just so for pots like this, when I water, it doesn't make a big mess that basically degrades the wood below and the stain on it. So during the day these things open up. I think at the time of filming I have my LED light panels on this, but it's probably 6 p.m. something like that. So it's finally gotten to the point where when I come home there's some light still shining on the balcony. It's not direct light, but it makes everything look a lot better when filming. So the new leaves are really starting to come in. It's finally a noticeable amount, although it's still not a huge amount. I think one of the reasons why people enjoy my starting from seeds plant growing series is because you get to see something come out of a very infinitesimal speck, a tiny seed. Sometimes the seeds can be very, very large, like in mangoes, but in most cases you're seeing the complete development cycle, whereas I suppose for some people watching things grow from a cutting won't be nearly as exciting unless they start with a bare branch that's been shaved and cut and they just have never seen the foliage before. And I've been in some of those cases, like with my raspberry plant. So yeah, it's been very interesting with that. For this, I hope it can get some viewers as well. This collection tray will really start to pay dividends as time goes on in terms of not making a huge mess, although as you can see again, I splattered a bunch of water by raising the can so high. And it's day 92, it's April 2019. There's finally a noticeable amount of new foliage. It's a lighter green. Everything is very waxy. That's nice to see that it has protection against evaporation and also insect predation, hopefully because of that. So there's some progress. It hasn't been huge over the last 92 days, but I think that will really accelerate as we get into spring proper here in San Diego and things really start to warm up. Get a lot more sun on this balcony. I think it might need full sun, and it won't get that on this balcony. It might get maybe up to 5 hours of direct sun a day, which still doesn't qualify as full sun, even during the summer, I think, because this balcony only gets sun during the morning from sometime after dawn all the way until noon or 1 p.m. at best. So hopefully I can see a lot of growth progress in 2019, and I hope this thing grows upright. Maybe I could do some pruning, but at this point there's not that much to prune and correct. It does seem to be growing at an angle with all the foliage facing one side. You can tell that's just the way it was when it was a branch on a tree or a shrub. So it could be 10 to 20 feet high, and it can be frost tolerant, even drought tolerant. Frost tolerant to maybe 20 Fahrenheit. I think that's -6, -7 Celsius. So like most plants, it can deal with a little bit of cold for a while, but probably not that much. So there's a lot of little weeds growing in here. I know clover species can be nitrogen fixers, so perhaps they can be of a net benefit to my cherry of the Rio Grande rather than a net drain. In either case, I'm not really worried because the rate of new foliage coming in vastly outpaces the rate at which I'm losing foliage. Maybe I've only lost one leaf so far. There are maybe 2 yellow tips visible from this angle, maybe more, but as long as the rate of new foliage coming in vastly outpaces the losses, then we're good to go. So thanks for watching, and please stay tuned to my YouTube channel for further updates on this growing series.